Kia ora and good afternoon. I'm Corin Dann with this One News budget special. We have an action-packed hour of budget news ahead. And joining me is Auckland University political scientist Dr. Jennifer Curtin, one of Q&A's regular panellists, to help me try and dissect it. This is a unique budget because it's a Labour budget. We haven't seen one for 10 years or so, have we?
Yeah, and it's interesting too because they're not pitching it just as a Labour budget. They're talking about it as a government budget, which means it's a budget for New Zealand First and a budget for the Greens as well. All
the spending rules and all that sort of stuff. Right, we're going to get straight into this and the top lines of the budget and what it means for you. Grant Robertson is about to start speaking in the House. He traditionally leads it off with the budget speech. Usually goes for about 45 minutes. We'll dip in and out of that as we go. He will be in a little bit later, though, after he's made that speech on the programme, as will National's finance spokesperson Amy Adams too. But joining us now to give us the first take on this budget is political editor for One News, Jessica Much, who has been in the lockup and had a look at the documents. Jessica, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, I've just come from the lockup now. Let's start off with the big numbers, the big winners. Health is the one that gets the big injection, $4 billion into that. That'll pay for cheaper doctors' visits for about 500,000 New Zealanders. The community services
spread out over those 4 years, remember. Now, we're going to take a much closer look at that new spending, particularly for health. Did Labour deliver on its promises? Remember, it had said it was going to bring them down $10. We will have more on that shortly. Welcome back to this One News budget special. We are poring over the documents to get a handle on this budget, and it does seem that health is the big winner. And let's go through some of the details announced on healthcare. $3.2 billion is the health injection. Now, the big flagship policy here seems to be cheaper doctors' visits for around 500,000 people, and that will mean, my understanding is, a $20 to $30 reduction for those on community services cards. That threshold for that card will be extended a little bit as well, and those in state houses as well. So that seems to be the big push. Also $112 million for more midwives. So they promised a lot on health, and they certainly have delivered. Now, I'm joined by a former Labour Finance Minister, Sir Michael Cullen, who has delivered, well, 9 budgets, and in fact delivered the last one for a Labour government. Welcome to you, Sir Michael. Well, what is your assessment of this budget? Do you think, as a Labour finance minister, has there been enough that has gone into those core social services?
Well, it's never enough because there's always going to be people saying we want more, we want more. The problem that Grant has had to face in this budget is balancing between a number of
full amount that they have promised. It is more like 1,800, isn't it? But it will be staged over some time. Right, let's go to One News presenter Simon Dello. He is at Parliament. He's getting ready for a big night of coverage at 6. Simon, what do you reckon?
Well, you've gone across all the 3 main areas, of course, housing, health, education. They're the big winners today, no doubt about it. Housing maybe not as much as the others. I've been fascinated by a couple of the other areas, law and order. Grant Robertson saying he wants to take a whole new approach to criminal justice. Part of that, I guess, is justifying the fact that there's no allocation for new prison spending, but he's aiming for 30% reduction in the prison roster within 15 years, so that reduces the spending on one side. And of course, those police officers you mentioned, the 1,800 that are promised, 700 of them dedicated to organised crime. That provokes a few questions of its own. The other thing I think that may have been skated over is, have Māori been properly served by this budget, given that you've got a full Labour Māori caucus these days? Where are the actual wins? Yes, most Māori will benefit from the fact that the lower socio-economic areas are getting addressed, and as other regions, and Māori will benefit generally from that. But where are the wins for a Labour Māori caucus? There was a palpable frisson of excitement, I guess, in the lockup this afternoon as people were waiting to anticipate what was going to be in the first Grant Robertson budget, and prudent and cautious seems to have been the overall reaction.
Excellent, Simon. We look forward to hearing more from you tonight at 6 on One News. That is it for the One News budget special. Thank you very much, Jennifer, for being with us. Thank you, Kirk, as well. I'll be back on Q&A on Sunday at 9. We will have Grant Robertson and Amy Adams. We'll get right into some of the nitty-gritty of this budget with them, plus an interview with the Rocket Lab CEO, Peter Beck. Catch you then.